Happy Saturday, and thank you so much for watching the East West Football Podcast. I am Fidel Barraza. Alongside with me, Jerry Martinez. How you doing, man?
And it's awesome time, man. I mean, my birthday's almost around the corner. Um, I mean, not that anybody's looking to get older, right? But my birthday personally is coming around the corner. Man, the NFL has just been making some waves. I just all excited, and I believe the tampering period for free agency starts tomorrow, right? So let's get right into it.
Yeah, so again, it's been a while. Thank you, everyone out there, for watching and listening. It's been a busy week in the NFL, if you haven't noticed. So let's start off with the biggest news early in the week. Russell Wilson traded to the Denver Broncos. Now, before Russell was traded to the Broncos, Aaron Rodgers actually agreed to stay in Green Bay at least for the 2022 season. Multiple reports coming out, though, saying that it's going to be a 4-year contract of $200 million. Now, Aaron Rodgers came out and said that is not true, but we all know that Aaron likes to hide things sometimes, so we'll see how that happens. But nevertheless, the Broncos end up with a really good quarterback in Russell Wilson, and of course, they're coming out and saying that he was plan number one. But to me, Jerry, I think it was plan two or plan B, as you can say.
Yeah, I would have to agree, right? Because I believe, I believe the Broncos were really high on Dan Quinn, and then out of nowhere they bring in the Green Bay OC to be the head coach. So now it's like, I mean, their intentions were to bring in a big time quarterback, and I think they were targeting, like you said, Aaron Rodgers. But hey, it fell short. Russell Wilson is not, he's not short when it comes to his game, right? Especially his game style. And I think that the Broncos, we've seen they've been constructing this team from the way from the what's the good word? Like they've been constructing this team from I guess the inside out or the outside in,
Yeah.
Yeah, or let's say the outside in, right? Because they've been, focusing on their defense for a while, picking players to, make that defense a defense to be respectful. Because honestly, you guys have the Chiefs, you have the Raiders, and then you have the Chargers in that division. So, they've been constructing that defense to slow down Patrick Mahomes, to slow down Derek Carr, and now Justin Herbert, which is it's getting nuts. And what we've been saying this since last offseason was the only thing the Broncos needed is a quarterback. They're a quarterback away, right? Because Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater just could not get over that hump, right? And that was their biggest roadblock, especially this past season. So I think landing Russell Wilson, I've heard people call it a genius move. Now I don't know, right? A genius move because they've obviously constructed, like I said, the team. They constructed in the defense. They've added some pieces on offense. They have some great wide receivers, but I don't know about that offensive line. I mean, it's better than Seattle's, right?
Yeah.
So if anything, it looks like with bringing in Nathaniel, right?
Nathaniel Hackett.
Nathaniel Hackett. It looks like they're going to focus on the run game, and then complement it with the receiving game. So I think that this is this is now the new NFC West. I mean, you got, like I said, you got the Chiefs, you got the Raiders, the Chargers, now the Broncos. I want to know how fast can I'm pretty sure Russell Wilson will be able to pick up the offense fast. I what I want to know is how well can he gel with his team, and I'm pretty sure they're going to gel pretty good too. I just want to know where are they going to fall with the Chiefs and the Raiders. Those two seem to be like the leaders of the pack in that division, but I don't know, man. Your division got tough. I don't know how your Raiders feel about it. I want to know what you feel about it.
Well, I mean, obviously, this is probably the toughest divisions in football now. I
Yes,
mean,
it is.
obviously, the AFC West with four really good quarterbacks. Now, I just want to go over the details real quick on the Russ trade. So, Seahawks received quarterback Drew Lock, defensive lineman Shelby Harris, tight end Noah Fant, a 2022 first round pick, a 2023 first round pick, two 2022 second round picks, and a 2022 fifth round pick. Broncos received Russell Wilson, of course, and a 2022 fourth round pick. So those are a lot of picks.
It is a lot of picks, man. And I mean, but dang, when you need a quarterback, you need a quarterback, and it just shows you this league is ran by quarterbacks, and we've seen what Russell Wilson could do. Although last year he did have some games where we were like, "What the heck is he
It was
doing?"
it was a little bit off.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was intentional or whatnot, but hopefully we can get some of that rust magic that he was cooking late, pretty much for his entire career, right? To be able to make this work. But dang, that is a lot of draft capital, and now the Seahawks can get back what they lost, right? Because remember, the Seahawks traded, what was it, 2 first-round picks for a safety that he's having a hard time staying healthy. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Jamal Adams. I think that he's a big time player, but I don't think he was worth 2 first-round picks. I mean, you really hinder your team because ideally what we see teams do is they'll build their team in the trenches, and then they draft a quarterback, or vice versa. They draft a quarterback and they build around the trenches, and then that allows them to bring in free agents, etc., in the offseason to continue to make those key moves to put your team over the hump. So, man, so the Seahawks are back in in the swing of things. I guess they're in full rebuild. So we shall see, man. What's your prediction for the Broncos this year?
But I mean, well, first, I really quick, I want to talk about the Seahawks. So I mean, I can't believe that Pete Carroll outlasted Russell Wilson in Seattle. That's number one.
That's crazy.
Now, if you're going to do a rebuild, I would figure you would want to do it with a younger head coach,
Yes.
unless you're not planning to be doing any rebuilding. Now, what I mean by that is that they got a lot of draft picks, right? So who knows? There might be a quarterback out there that was found not guilty on some charges that is available via trade, but we'll get to him later on. I can't believe Pete Carroll outlasted Russell Wilson. Now going to the Broncos. Look, obviously they had to give up a lot to get Russell Wilson, but they got the quarterback now. I think it was 4 seasons not making the playoffs in a row. Um, we saw what this team did with Peyton Manning. When he came in via free agency and took the team to the Super Bowl twice, and he won once. So look, Broncos have a lot of talent on offense, and Russell Wilson. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in football. So I think it's definitely going to help him out.
Yeah, I would. I had to agree with you. Like I said, if he could just pick up this offense, which, like I said, it looks like it'll be. If it's anything like the Packers, Packers have been able to let Aaron Rodgers do what he does, but they've been able to protect Aaron Rodgers also by getting a running game going. So let's see what they do. They have a very talented running back in Javonte Williams and some nice wide receivers from him. So I think that this is a great situation for Russell Wilson to fall into. I know he had two monster wide receivers, in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, which is kind of funny to say a monster receiver in Tyler Lockett when he's a small guy, but his play is a lot bigger. But we should see, man. We shall see if he can bring out the best in Cortland Sutton, who they gave a extension to about a season ago. Jerry Judy was their first round pick.
Yeah.
And then also KJ Hamler. I know they got rid of Deshaun Hamilton, but I mean he didn't live up to the hype.
Yeah.
But we shall see, man. And that Rust Magic looks nice in that it's gonna be different to see him in a different uniform. But from what we've seen so far, it looks kind of cool, man. That orange looks nice on Russell.
And that same day, Seattle actually cut ties also with Bobby Wagner, which comes into as a surprise. And he took his feelings on social media and said that the Seahawks directly didn't tell him that he wasn't going to be back. I believe he found out via social media, so that's got to be tough. But obviously, there's multiple suitors that are interested in his services. On one team being the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't know how, but Cowboys are in cap hell, man. They don't. There's so much chaos with the Cowboys. I would hate to be a part of this organization right now. It's hard to even pull for them right now as a fan, as somebody that follows the Cowboys as long as I have. I mean, it's hard, man. Right now, it's one of those things where it's almost shameful to see what the Cowboys are doing. But I won't get too deep into it right now, right? We'll cover that as it unfolds. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Bobby Wagner, and Dan Quinn. I mean, they have a history together. It makes sense to try to kick the tires, right, to help Micah succeed by bringing in a Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champ,
Yeah.
an 8-time Pro Bowler. I mean, 2-time All Pro. linebacker who can show Michael Parsons everything he needs to learn as far as being a linebacker, and then allow Michael Parsons to be, what he was last year, which is an absolute terror in the field. So I think it makes a lot of sense, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I know that I think when I saw the list, it was like eight different teams, especially in the NFC West.
Yeah, it was pretty much the whole NFC West
Yeah,
and
the
also
Cardinals,
the Cowboys.
Cardinals, 49ers. I mean, it just makes so much sense. It's you would be able to get like at least, I think you should be able to get at least three, maybe four, possibly see good seasons out of him. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a Pro Bowler. He knows how to play the game.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. So I mean, he's gonna end up somewhere, and this is
Yeah.
gonna have an impact on whatever defense he ends up playing in. All right, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. So I mean, look, a lot of people were saying he was gonna retire. A lot of people say he was gonna get traded to the Broncos. Ultimately, he stays in Green Bay. Now, for how long we don't know, but at least the Packers don't have this distraction this offseason.
It's a big and that does mess with the team, man. I mean, it really does mess with the team, but it's good that he came clean. I think that, man, I've seen so many reports. There's a podcast that I listen to, and it makes sense what they say too, right? Like Aaron Rodgers is trying to like reconstruct his image, right? Because for whatever reason, people see him as the bad guy in the NFL, right? For his decision making and the things he says and how public he is about his opinion, and frankly the way he has, I guess, taking charge of his own career in the NFL. So yeah, I mean, it, like you said, this could just be for a season, just to kind of like heal that bad guy or the villain image off of him. So we shall see, man. But it's definitely something that I think all Packers Nation should be happy, man. You guys got your quarterback, and I think right now when you look at the NFC in total, they're the favorites right now to make a run for the Super Bowl and be real Super Bowl contenders with the 49ers.
And also, the Green Bay Packers did tag Devontae Adams. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a key. That's a big time move right there. Because Aaron Rodgers and Devontae have a chemistry like no other, man. It's crazy. So I think it's one of those things. It's like peanut butter and jelly almost. These guys, they just play they play better together. So, but it would have been interesting to see. I saw Devontae Adams flirting with the Raiders. I don't know, man. That would have been cool to see, though. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, and he bought a house recently in Las Vegas. So, a lot of people were speculating that, hey, he's going to end up with the Raiders in free agency. Obviously, look, I thought I had my hopes, but not too high because I had a hard time believing that that was going to happen. And Green Bay was going to just let him walk for nothing. So, but he's going to stay in Green Bay. So, yeah, two of the biggest players for Green Bay are staying with the Packers. Another quarterback that is probably going to be on a different team next season, Jimmy Garoppolo. Obviously, a lot of trade speculation with Carson Wentz being traded to the Washington Commanders. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But Jimmy Garoppolo, he is scheduled to have shoulder surgery sometime in the near future, but he is expected to be ready by late July to be throwing. Jerry, let me know what you think. Where do you think he's going to land?
Well, first and foremost, I think this is a great situation for the 49ers, right? I just think that um the Colts have, for whatever reason, been linked to the 49ers since the Colts got rid of, Carson Wentz. Now they need a quarterback, and they are a quarterback away. Their window is closing fast too, especially with the offensive line is getting older. They struck gold with Jonathan Taylor. But yeah, I think that I think the Colts make a lot of sense. The only thing with the Colts is they don't have the draft capital, and I think that the 49ers are trying to get, back into the first round. So I think this is kind of like what's been the holdup right now is, do the 49ers want the compensation later on, right? Because they did give up, what was it, 3 first rounds
Yeah.
for Trey Lance, right? So you're talking about this season and next season. So they could get a potential first, but would that be enough? Like, in other words, right now, since the supply and demand is not meeting,
Yeah.
now the 49ers can really, like, take advantage and get a first round and some for Jimmy G. So it's crazy to think that Jimmy G would be traded for more than a first round. I think when they got him for 2 second-round picks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just makes sense. But if you were to ask me where, I mean, the Colts make a ton of sense. What kind of trade package are they looking into? I don't know. I think that the Colts don't have a draft pick until what, the third round, maybe.
I believe the second round actually, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
Yeah, yeah.
But look, I was told by multiple sources out in the Bay Area that there is going to be a trade. More than likely, it's going to happen next week, towards the end of the week, after free agency kind of gets a little bit settled in. I think obviously the team is going to be the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, they tried to trade for Jimmy, I believe, before, and
The
Chris Ballard and Frank Reich, they're desperate for a quarterback. Look, Jimmy Garoppolo is not the best quarterback, but he's not the worst quarterback. Obviously, he took this team to the NFC Championship game last year and with the 49ers. And, he didn't play too good towards the end, but hey, he ended up taking that team to the NFC Championship game against the Rams. And he's a lot of teams are going to be inquiring about his services, but I think he is going to end up in Indianapolis.
it would be nice, man. I mean, like you said, I mean, he could do what he needs to do. I think like that, like I tried saying earlier. I mean, there right now is the Jonathan Taylor show. I mean, if he could get going, that's just going to help out whatever quarterback is out there. And I think that it makes a ton of sense for the Colts to make the move. But he's also been linked to the Steelers, right? Because the Steelers, they need a quarterback, but they've been the most hush hush team of all. So we'll see who they end up with. But it looks like the Colts are running away with Jimmy G this offseason.
Yeah, and then so let's continue talking about quarterbacks. Talking about a quarterback that did not play last year, Deshaun Watson. So he was found not guilty on the charges in federal court. So now it looks like steam's picking up about him being traded to another team. Um, what team do you think is going to end up with Deshaun Watson? Obviously, he's going to play next year.
Yeah.
Now the question is going to be where's he going to play and what the Texans are going to get back.
Wow, man, it's crazy, right? I mean, honestly, nobody spoke about his name or said his name all off season last year. It's kind of crazy situation, but I mean, you cannot deny the game that he brings. He brings that Russell Wilson type of game to his game, a little tougher, I would say. But man, me and Kendall were having, we were just talking, chatting it up about some of the news that was breaking yesterday, and we saw that the Panthers, for whatever reason, have been linked to him, and it makes a ton of sense because I mean he is from Clemson, which is the same kind of area, I guess, from the Carolinas, right? So
Yeah.
we shall see, man. We shall see. I think the thing that makes it interesting is that Deshaun Watson does have a no trade clause situation in his contract, so he would probe the teams that want to inquire about his services. But it's kind of weird how you notice how I have not seen Miami's name linked to him. Have you?
No, so report did come out, I believe it was last week, that they're going to go with Tua Tagovailoa moving forward for the 2022 season. And I think after that, depending how it works out with Mike McDaniel and see if Tua's going to be able to play great.
Well, I mean, Mike McDaniel also coming from that Shanahan coaching tree, right? I don't know if it's safe to say the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Uh, Mike McDaniel, that coach, I mean, he's something else, man. If you guys listen to his
he's
interviews,
different.
yeah, look at his interviews. He's young, he's hungry, he's motivated, but he is the OC, man. He was the offensive coordinator for the 49ers, and we've seen the success they've had in the running game. And I think it's easy to see what direction the Dolphins are going to go with in the offseason. That's going to be tailored more to either reconstructing or constructing that offensive line to complement the running back game, and maybe even a potential running back, right, to complement that type of offense, and maybe that'll help too. But getting back on subject, yeah, man, let's just put some scenarios out there. I think if the Panthers can land Deshaun Watson and Deshaun can actually play, wow, watch out. I think that the Panthers would actually surpass the Bucks and the Saints.
Well, here's the thing, Jerry. So Matt Rule, obviously, he's got to save his job because if they underperform this year, he's going to be gone, and he's going to probably be coaching back in college football. and he's not going to get another NFL coaching gig anytime soon. So look, for the Deshaun Watson trade, obviously I think Christian McCaffrey is going to have to be a piece in that.
Yeah.
With multiple first round picks, maybe a defensive player, but it's not going to be easy for the Panthers to get Deshaun Watson. So if they want to make this deal, happen, they're gonna have to give up some valuable pieces to what they got right now. But obviously, the quarterback kind of puts you head over shoulders over everything or any position right on the team. And then when you think about the division, you're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They don't know who the quarterback is going to be, but they're in the mix for Deshaun Watson as well. So I think we got to keep an eye on that team. The Atlanta Falcons, we don't know what they are yet. Matt Ryan's getting up there in age. They're still trying to find themselves, trying to find their identity. And then with the New Orleans Saints, new coaching staff. The quarterback, we don't know who that's going to be. A lot of speculation, people saying that Jameis Winston's going to be back next year, but we don't know, right?
Yeah.
So this division is wide open.
It is wide open now. I think if anything, I mean, anybody can just turn around and be the leader, kind of like what the Cowboys did with the NFC East last season. Uh, Another team that I saw, which is weird, the Seattle Seahawks, right? I saw them also linked to Deshaun Watson. So it's going to be an interesting market for lack of better terms, and I do expect some news to come soon with him. I mean, the Texans have been trying to trade this guy for a while, but that litigation process kind of held things up, and now that it's been somewhat cleared up, um, I think now is the time to move and capitalize on that and get some draft capital if you feel that you need to build your team from the trenches in. I think that'd be a good move for the Texans since they're in a complete rebuild right now. So I try to get the most draft capital and the most, like you said, star players. I mean, if you can get a Christian McCaffrey and some players and some picks, I think that's the move to make. And watch out. I think I said, man, he'll make the Panthers an instant playoff team.
All right. And then alongside with trades, of course, we're going to have teams releasing players. So these are the players that are released so far, and
Well,
there's a lot.
wait,
So
before we get into that, Carson Wentz got traded to
how
the
did I forget about Carson Wentz?
Well, you kind of talked about you briefly said it, and
Briefly.
we were supposed to get back into it, man. But it's crazy because the Washington Commanders, right? I got that right, man, because I had finally got the Washington football team. I finally got that going for me. But the Commanders, it sounds weird, man. I think they're just kind of honestly, they're copying the Cowboys.
They should have just stick. They should have just stuck to the Washington football team.
It grew on us. I think it grew on us. So obviously the Commanders are going to have to grow on us too. So it's going to be interesting to see uh, how can we get used to that name, the Commanders? It's weird. It feels like a franchise, expansion franchise that they brought in. But anyways, man, they were desperate for a quarterback since last offseason. Since last season, right? In general, and Tyler Heineke and the crowd that they had, they put up some good efforts, but man, it just shows you that how important the quarterback position is. And I think they got two third round picks. They traded two third round picks, and they took on the Carson Wentz's contract. That was the big kicker, but I think the Colts traded their second round pick along with the package, man.
I'll get the details in a
Yeah,
second.
so that's why I was telling you. I think the Colts pick. I'm not too sure. Did they have two second round picks this year?
Let's see.
We would
All
have
right.
to look.
So I have this up for you now. So Commanders get Carson Wentz. Colts get a 2022 third round pick, a 2023 conditional third rounder that could turn into a second round pick. So those are the details for the trades. But look, if they would have just waited till yesterday noon, they would have found out that Deshaun Watson was found not guilty, and that might have been the play that they would have wanted to do. And instead, they settled for Carson Wentz.
Yeah, man. Carson Wentz is he's kind of weird, man. He tries to play this hero ball, but he gets himself and the team in trouble, and there's frustration from what I saw was he tried arranging a meeting to apologize to Jim Mercy. This is crazy, man. Like, what is going on with Carson Wentz?
So his teammates were saying that they weren't getting along with Carson, that it was too reckless. along with multiple other things, and that's why Carson Wentz was gonna be traded. Now, look, a lot of it has to do with his he didn't play good against the Raiders, and he didn't play good against Jacksonville Jaguars last week. All you had to do was win, and you're in. You lost to a team you should not have lost to, even though they've lost to the Jags in Jacksonville either 6 or 7 times in a row. I don't recall, but nonetheless, he is now a Washington Commander quarterback.
Does he make the team better? That's all I want to know.
Well, Vegas doesn't think so because their Super Bowl odds dropped immediately when the trade happened.
Wow, I did not look into that. That's crazy to hear that. I mean, I would kind of give him the edge, right? Because Carson Wentz, uh, he, dang it, man. I don't know, man. From what I've seen I've seen a quarterback that's kind of regressed and tries to force too many plays that are not there. I don't know if he doesn't have confidence in himself, but I don't know, man. Putting in with Coach Ron Rivera, maybe Ron Rivera can build up his psyche and maybe get Carson Wentz back into that quarterback shape form. What was it, 2017? Man, it feels so long ago.
His ACL against the Rams, the year the Eagles won, or I'm sorry, the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so if they could get some version, which the Colts tried to do it, they couldn't do it. I don't know what the Commanders think that they could do that the Colts couldn't do, because the Colts had a good situation, a great defense, running game started getting going, like you said.
Yeah,
I mean, you had Michael Pittman was stepping up his game. He was looking like he was going to be a super. He looks like he has the potential to be a superstar stud wide receiver in the NFL, right? We'll see, man. The Redskins are kind of like the Broncos right now. They're one of those teams that kind of have all the nice surrounding pieces. They're just missing that quarterback. So they have a first round draft picks. We'll see. We'll see if they're going to invest that back into their team or maybe draft another quarterback. Who knows?
Look, one thing I feel pretty confident in saying is that if this is going to be Carson Wentz's last stop as a starting quarterback, if it doesn't work out, this is his last chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like you said, starting quarterback's key word, right? Because I mean, I think he still has a home in the NFL. I mean, I think he would be better than any. I think right now he's better than, I think he's better than Case Keenum, and we're seeing Case Keenum flying around from team to team as a backup. So, if anything, like you said, he got to get the ship right. If he doesn't, his future will be a backup like what was the Jaguars' former quarterback?
Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles, this is basically what it looks like. It looks like.
Hey, but come on, give Blake a little more credit. He took his team to the AFC Championship game against the New England Patriots, and it was close.
That was a unique situation. The Jags were actually a fun team to watch during that time. So, but we saw what happened with Blake Bortles after that.
Flamed out.
Yeah, he flamed out. Great word, flamed out. Yeah.
All right. So, with all that being said, these are the players that have been released so far. Keep in mind, there's probably going to be more. So, we'll start off with Bobby Wagner, Landon Collins, Trey Flowers, Jordan Hicks, Roger Satfield, Tavon Young, Corey Littleton, Kyle Van Noy, Tariq Cohen, Kyle Rudolph, Devontae Booker, John Feliciano, and AJ Klein, and also fullback of the Las Vegas Raiders, Alec Ingold. They just didn't re-sign him, but so he's going to be a free agent as well. What do you think of these names?
And it doesn't just stop there. I mean, look at with the Dallas Cowboys. I mean,
Greg Zuerlein, the kicker.
Greg Zuerlein, Blake Jarwin, but I don't know what they found out with Blake Jarwin, but Jarwin, I guess, has some kind of issue that is, what was it, like something relative to rugby football players? Like he has an injury, that the NFL has not seen before, which is kind of unique, and so I guess there's too much uncertainty there. But I mean, aside from that, there's been so much speculation of Amari Cooper being released also, but I don't know now. They're talking about Le'Veon Collins also being released or traded. So, man, right now, it's just so much chaos. I just think that come tomorrow, we're gonna start seeing the landscape and seeing who takes lead and who takes charge. Do you have any teams that you think will be very active this offseason?
I think that I was gonna say San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. One of the reason being is because they're one of the teams that has the most cap space. They still have Justin Herbert on that rookie contract, which they're probably gonna have to give him a new one next year. So look, I mean, they traded for Khalil Mack a couple days ago, and it was for like a second round and a sixth round pick, I believe. So he's gonna be lining up with Joey Bosa on that same line, and some
It's
packages
crazy.
probably on the same side. That's crazy, right? So the AFC
Yeah,
West just keeps getting better and better and better.
yeah.
But nonetheless, I think the Colts. I think they're actually the top team that has the most cap space.
I think it was
Um,
almost like 70. Yeah, they're up there like 70 million, a
yeah.
little
So
over, a little north
if
of it.
if not close to that number. So they're going to be active. Look, they need to figure out the quarterback situation. So there's been multiple reports that they are willing to give the Las Vegas Raiders a lot in exchange for Derek Carr. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because Derek Carr is probably one of the only reasons why the Raiders have been relevant a little bit and winning some games, not all games, of course, especially with the last season, hell of a season that they had as a team and were able to get into the playoffs and almost beat the Bengals. But I think that team is the one that I see, or those teams, I should say, the Colts and the Chargers being the most active next week.
Yeah.
What
Uh,
about you?
I mean, I think the Colts kind of they give themselves this luxury to have that amount, right? To be able to go out there and really find those little pieces. But you said like I don't see a free agent quarterback out there, man, which is the hard part. Uh, so I think if anything, what do the Colts need to invest into? I mean, that's a lot of money to have to just have sitting around. You need to put that to invest, like they tell us all, right? Invest your money, invest your money. So hopefully the Colts continue to invest in that, um, and get more weapons. Depth, I guess. Maybe sturdy up that offensive line. So there's gonna be plenty of big time names that we've come to known that are going to be potential free agents this offseason. And I think the Colts are in a prime position to cash in. So we shall see. And give me the Colts to be making some moves, making some waves.
Since 2018, these have been the starting quarterbacks for the Indianapolis Colts. 2018, Andrew Luck. 2019, Jacoby Brissett.
That's it.
2020, Philip Rivers. 2021, Carson Wentz. And of course, they'll have a new starting quarterback in 2022.
Oh man.
That's not good.
Not. I mean, Jameis Winston is going to be a free agent, man. But I mean, there's just something about Jameis Winston, man. That I don't know why people don't take him serious. I from what I've seen is just a guy that's kind of already grown up a little bit. Maybe he was a little bit immature, so it's kind of hard, right? The first impressions are always the long and lasting ones, and I think with Jameis Winston being out there, I think that they could give the Saints problems as far as bringing him back. So that would
Oh,
be interesting.
yeah. Also, Jerry, really quick. So reports are coming out that Vikings are very open to trading quarterback Kirk Cousins.
I saw
Colts
that.
and Seahawks among the possible landing spots, per Jason Lockenford.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I honestly, I don't understand. I wouldn't understand the move person because I think that he gives the Vikings the best chance. Right now, when you look at the landscape of quarterbacks, but it does make sense because they do have a pretty high draft pick, right? So they could go out there and get one of these quarterbacks. I don't know. I don't really feel too comfortable with this year's draft class when it comes to the quarterbacks. But if there's one quarterback out there that maybe impresses me, there's a couple of them. Like in other words, I like their game. I think Matt Corral. A lot of people,
I like him.
yeah, a lot of people don't give him that benefit of the doubt. Man, this guy has been competing with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. He was literally like, so it was Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields were 1A, 1B. Matt Corral was actually second right behind him. And especially in that Elite 11, you can go back and watch it. Matt Corral was right there, man. I mean, he was battling against these quarterbacks that went pretty high last year in the draft, 1 and 10, right?
Mhm.
So I think that Matt Corral is that gunslinger that has a very talented arm and he's athletic. Only thing with him is he needs to stay healthy. That's the
Yeah.
only thing with him. If he could stay healthy, I think that he could be that type of quarterback, that could put up some gaudy numbers.
Yeah. So Jerry, I actually have in front of me the top 10 teams that have the most cap space going into free agency. So yeah, we were right. The Colts are number one right now at $69.8 million.
Okay.
Seahawks 49.9 million. Jets 48.5 million. Dolphins 48. Jaguars 39.6. Bengals 34.6. Bears 28.5. Steelers at 27. Panthers 26.5, and the Lions 27.7, pending the Trey Flowers release.
Damn. Where are the Raiders at?
I believe they have around 30.
Yeah, I think the Raiders should make a great push for Bobby Wagner, man.
I think they got their eyes set on multiple cornerbacks just because of the way Patrick Graham's defensive scheme. So, of course, J.C. Jackson, the number one free agent cornerback this year, I think they have a lot of interest in him. Of course, Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler coming from New England know him very well. So we'll see. But he's going to command a lot of money, man. So I don't know how that's going to happen.
Yeah. I think he runs a 4-2-5 defense. So that's 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs.
Yep.
So yeah, you guys are definitely gonna need some defensive back help. I think obviously maybe that should be something that they address also in not free agency, but also in the draft, right? Maybe get one of these talented cornerbacks to groom into your defense and into your style, and maybe make some noise. You guys got Trevon Moehrig, or how do you say it? Moehrig, he's out of TCU. Man, he balled last year.
He's good, man. But man, I wish he wouldn't have stopped when he heard that whistle. He would have picked the ball off, and
he would have, man.
Yeah,
It's
so
heartbreaking, man. It's so heartbreaking.
oh my god, I can't even talk about that game, man.
Hey, man, but he's super talented, man. I think
Yes,
the sky's the limit for that guy. So you pair him up with the right one, like you said, J.C. Jackson. There's a market there for it. They should do it, but yeah, man. Let's see how these teams do it. I think if anything, Jets are still relatively young to kind of be taking over. The Dolphins kind of give a good push in the NFC East, but you got the Bills and the Patriots who are kind of the leaders of the pack right now in that division. And for what was the last team that you mentioned in the NFC?
no,
The Seahawks. The Seahawks with 49. The Seahawks could take advantage of some of these big time names that are being released, especially in the
49.9 million.
I mean, honestly, they could invest in the offensive line. That would be great for them. I think they have a luxury now that they didn't have, which is the draft pick, the draft capital. So we shall see, man. We shall see how this all unfolds, and I think tomorrow we're going to see some of these rumors come to light.
And then also too, I think a quarterback that we have to keep an eyes on as far as him being traded is Baker Mayfield. So multiple teams have been rumored of being interested in Baker Mayfield's, and also the Bucks have done work, as you should expect the Browns to be looking for suitors for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I think we were just talking about that before we went on the air. We were saying, I think we saw the Texans linked to Baker. So, dang, I don't know, man. Baker is Baker, man. I think he's a blue collar type mentality. You know, he's kind of very gritty, fiery competitor. I think last year he was hurting himself and the Browns too much, playing with that injured shoulder. What he had, like a completely torn labrum. So I think Baker does give you a good opportunity. I think that with Baker, man, he could fit in so many different systems in the NFL. If the Browns move on for him, that speaks volumes. That they like his game, that they like what he was doing. I don't know, man. He plays that. He has that hero ball in him too. You know, that gunslinger mentality. So it's kind of hard. I don't see this conservative Texans group or Texans organized Texans front office looking like they are looking for a quarterback like that. But it would be kind of cool to see him bring in and reignite these Texans fans, give them hope, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. But that would be interesting to see if they do move on. What do they do next? Because everybody needs a quarterback right now in the NFL.
Yeah, and then teams that have been linked to be interested in trading for Amari Cooper have been the Browns, Dolphins, and Patriots, and Kansas City Chiefs.
Dang. That's a that's a tough one right there. That one kind of hurts a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen in that situation, man. There's so many contradicting reports, release, not release, uh, reconstruction of the salary cap of not salary cap of his actual contract,
Yeah.
and then now I was seeing that he's potentially going to be a traded. So I would like just to see an end to it already. Personally, I think it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously there's a lot going on right now, a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation, but look, free agency officially starts on Tuesday. So we're going to see a lot of names be traded or not traded, but signed. Perhaps we're going to see some trades as well. So a lot of a lot of information, and thank you everyone out there for watching and listening. Of course, we'll talk to you guys again on Tuesday. We will have Rick Bucher from FS1 join us next week as well, so stay tuned for that.
Monday.
Until then, Monday, yes, on Monday. Tuesday, free agency starts. So expect to see a lot of content and hear from us a lot more next week. Again, everyone out there, thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend.